And here in Nigeria, 791 COVID-19 infections with 8 deaths were recorded in the last 24 hours. That's according to the Center for Disease Control, NCDC. The new cases were recorded in 13 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Lagos had 523, followed by the FCT with 84, Oyo 48, Ondo 35, Kano 22. Others are Borno with 16, Delta and Edo 15, Ogun 9, Jigawa 7, Bauchi 6, Plateau 5, Rivers 4, and Bayelsa 2.
The herbal medicine developed by Afe Babalola University for the treatment of COVID-19 continues to receive attention following approval by the National Agency for Food Administration and Control. Founder of the university, Chief Afe Babalola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, earlier in the week said 19 patients of the dreaded disease have recovered after using the drug. He said the number of those healed by the herbal drug is increasing by the day.
Okay, well, to shed more light on this, we are now joined from Lagos by Professor Opemiposi Omotuyi, the lead scientist of the research team that developed the herbal medicine. Hello, Prof. Thanks for joining us on Newsnight. You want to quickly give us a summation of this new COVID herbal medication? Is it like an expectorant? Is it in tablet form? What is it generally?
Thank you very much for having me, and good evening to you from Abuja studio. This is a syrup that was developed out of very extensive research into herbs from African origin for the sole purpose of being able to combat the deadly coronavirus disease. Thank you.
All right, tell us, with this drug, does it mean that a vaccine will not be required? Tell us really more about this and how much of a groundbreaking event this is.
Okay, thank you very much. You can see very clearly in the events that have happened in the world in the last 1.5 years. The first time we started having some kind of how do call this? Some kind of relief of COVID was when they developed their initial platforms of vaccines. And essentially, as events began to unfold, people started realizing that once the virus began to mutate, the efficacy of these vaccines began to drop very significantly, meaning that you might require several jabs to stay on top of the situation. And that's exactly where ours is better than all of that, because we are going to be able to prevent you from having COVID if you've not had it before, because of the mechanistic basis for which our preparation works. But if you have also had it, we can also be able to clear the virus of you because of the way it also works. So, are you not going to take vaccine? Of course, you can't take vaccine. But that does not stop you from taking ours, because ours is curative, and that's exactly how it works.
Yours is curative. Nigerians would want to know how long this test, take before you were licensed by NAFDAC, because there wasn't anything in the public space about the development of this herbal syrup. And secondly, are you going to develop something that is going to be intravenous, like a vaccine with it? You already have a formula to making the syrup.
Thank you very much. Well, a lot of people have not really followed the trend of our research in the last 2.5 years. So let me also give you the opportunity to, keep you up to speed. Number one, we started with about 18 plants and we narrowed them down to about 2. Out of the 2, we published one of them, which is Aframomum meleguata, and we were the first of any university all over the world to say that that particular plant has the capacity to be able to cure anyone of SARS-CoV-2 infection. Just about 3 weeks ago, 5 universities in America came together to repeat the same experiment, and they found out that it's not only able to take care of SARS-CoV-2, but it can also take care of SARS-CoV-1, you know. But while that was going on, we also got the second one, which we didn't want to publish because we wanted to get proprietary rights on that particular one, and we, you know, developed it pari passu with the first. So that there is nothing in the public space is not totally accurate, because a lot of people were not actually following until NAFDAC came and saw what we're doing and felt we had to be listed and licensed. So, and that is it. Then number 2, in the, you know, I am not a pharmacist, for instance. We are going to sit down and talk to our scientists and ask them if there are other formulations that we can take out of this. And I can tell you for free, we were, you know, discussing this with the team yesterday when Chief Afe Babalola was, you know, addressing the team. And he said we have to move away, you know, gradually or systematically from syrup and be able to get, you know, 1 or 2 few compounds that we can purify from this preparation. And maybe when we are able to achieve that, we might begin to talk about being able to do an IV or tablet or something that is very close to that. So that's exactly the point where we are right now about the development of Verosidin.
Wonders how far this herbal mixture can go with COVID, you know, coming up with all kinds of variants. There's Omicron. We've just heard about the Ihu in France. Israel, we hear too, has, you know, discovered another variant. Are you saying that this herbal mixture can take care of every variant possible? And help us, walk us through the research too. What kind of challenges did you face, especially when it comes to funding?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think the first question is probably the most important question today that anybody should be asking. There are variations of the original, what is called white type SARS-CoV-2 that has mutated into different forms. How can our preparation stand, you know, in the way of all of this? Now, one of the reasons why most of the drugs that were developed earlier failed was because they were just a single compound targeting a single target along what is called the pathogenesis of COVID-19. Ours is different. Although it's a single herb, but comprising of not less than about 5 different compounds in that herb, and each of these 5 compounds are attacking different stages of the development of COVID-19. I will tell you, number 1, there are some components in that particular plant that is capable of stopping virus from entering the cell. There are other components that are capable of disallowing them from attaching into the cell. There are some components that also, you know, will stop these viruses from being able to replicate, that is, become many copies within the cell. And there are also some of the components that also stop them from being able to elicit, you know, very bad immune response that eventually leads to hospitalization. So now, as long as a virus is mutating, there are many vaccines that are developed to target a specific areas. Once that mutation takes place, it no longer has the capacity to work. But because ours is polypharmacologic, that's what they call it in science, that is able to attack different stages. It doesn't matter what it mutates to, we have something in our arsenal to be able to deal with that situation. And that's exactly what makes ours to stand, you know, against, I mean taller above anything that anybody anywhere else in the world offers today. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
With regards to funding,
okay,
I've always said that Chief Afe Babalola, I am sorry to say this, but I have to say it. He's one of the most visionary person that Nigeria and probably Africa has. This is a man in 2019 at the very first week when it was reported in China said this will become a global problem. And he immediately packed people together and said, look, work together, solve this problem. And I want you to use the indigenous method to solve this problem. And he said, we are not going to ask anybody for anything. Whatsoever money you need to do this research, we'll put it right on the floor for you to do it. And I was telling them with Plus TV Africa yesterday that we were supposed to use a particular kit and we could not get it. He had to order it and he told them to import it into Nigeria. He doesn't care how it is done. That's exactly the kind of spirit that he has. But beyond all of that, he told us, Nigeria needs a functional education. People who do not rely on the output of academic publications alone, but be able to develop outcomes. And what are the outcomes? To be able to solve societal problems by developing those research into products. That's exactly what is the difference here. So we are not just waiting and saying, oh, wait, we will see what happens, we will publish. No, take the result of the publication and convert into product. That is called functional education. That's exactly what he believes in. And he has not only believed in that, he has also put it in practice by saying, I will put all the fundings down that you need to take this from biomedical research to pharmaceutical preparation, even into commercialization. And I can tell you, when we were thinking about how do we produce in mass quantity, he said we needed to have what is called upward research park. I was in that team when 5 billion was signed out just to buy equipment to produce this in large quantity, in commercial quantity. So that is exactly what he has done here. So if anybody is joining us now, it's because they have seen the successes that we have reported. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Opemiposi Omotuyi, Director of Research, Afe Babalola University. Thank you for joining us.